Това видео достига до вас благодарение на Project Audio Systems, аудиотехника, Sennheiser, Goldenear, QED и Q-Acoustics.
Здравейте, приятели! Аз съм Тони и продължаваме от Munich High-End ден втори. Първото интервю, което ще направим днес е с господин Робърт Eigh, представител от Goldenear. Goldenear марка, която вече може да намерите при нас. Всичките продукти са налични за тест, висок клас колони или от най-известните T66, ще кажа T66. И да, както преди сме говорили, интервюта ще бъдат направени на английски. Ще видим какво може да направим за неанглоговорящите. Съжалявам, Google Translate също се надявам горе-долу да ви помогне, но разбирате. So, switching now to English. First of all, thank you, Robert, for your time spending and educating and giving your feedback towards our community. This is really, really much appreciated. So, let's speak about Goldenear in particular. Can you walk us a little bit about the history of Goldenear and what makes Goldenear this special?
What is Goldenear? Well, Goldenear have been around for coming on 15 years as a company themselves. Yeah. But the history of the company goes back into the 1970s. The founder was one of the key team that brought Polk audio to the market in the United States. A guy called Sandy Gross, who was the marketing, the sales, and part of the development team to bring Polk to the market. And through that, or since that time, Sandy's been involved with other speaker brands like Definitive Technology. Mm-hmm. And then when he formed Goldenear, about 15 years ago, he forged this look and feel and the sort of design ethos of the products, which our owner, Bill Lowe from AudioQuest, really enjoyed. He'd known Sandy for years. I think he even bought some Triton speakers for might have been his daughter, for her system, because he just loved the performance, the value, and just how great they sounded for everyday use. He just sat down and fell in love with your music again. So it's always been a product that he admired. And when the opportunity came to buy them back in 2020, he jumped at the chance because he really felt that with some new energy, some new input, we could evolve the great products that Goldenear had made to new things like the T66, which I heard you mention in the introduction.
So like from personal passion into continues to be a business.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's really much the way that sort of Bill is driven. You know, he's here at the show. We won't see much of him because he is having such fun listening to music and trying and experiencing new stuff because he is so enthusiastic about music, about audio, and enjoying yourself with music and movies and all those kind of things. So it's something which is driven from deep inside to make products which he's really proud of, that he would own.
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
Yeah, so you can, when we say that we can personally recommend something, we are using it, so that's why we can personally develop.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's that real heartfelt honesty is that, yeah, I'd have these at home. I'd have these at home tomorrow.
Yeah.
And love them every time you listen to them.
So let's speak about a little bit the product. The first thing that people usually ask me when they see first sound, of course, we always say it's a subjective thing, and we always recommend for people to come to listen. If possible, we have them burn in, because they needed like 20 hours or something at least to start to sound better, pretty much. But the first thing that you usually ask us, why can't we remove the grill?
Right. Okay. On the towers that actually have an active subwoofer inside them with an amplifier inside.
From the both sides,
yeah. Which drives the bass for you. Because there's live-driven electronics in there, from a safety perspective, we have to be really careful to meet certain certification. So there's no chance of someone accidentally damaging a driver then touching something which has power, because that would obviously hurt quite a lot and might even be fatal. With products that don't have any active electronics in, of course, you can take the grill off. But to reach safety standards for a number of markets, we need to make sure this stays on.
This is like the recommendations from the microwave. Don't put cat in the oven, kind of, but safety regulations sometimes we have to comply.
We do.
And you're using such variety of drivers in the speakers.
Yeah.
This is something not quite orthodox. Usually manufacturers have a couple of drivers, but here you have 5 different types.
We do indeed, yeah. So one of the things which, from an aesthetic perspective, so how the product looks, has been really important to the brand, has been something that's slim, that's not a huge, wide, intrusive box that in a room can disappear a little bit. So the use of things like passive radiators, ABRs, on the side of the speaker means that we can keep the profile slim. It still gives us the driver area to give us good low bass without having a huge box that's going to overpower a living space. Then, again, we can't see it because I can't take the grill off, but we've got 2 very, almost like the shape of a racetrack drivers, which are the driven woofers, which give us the area that we want to be able to move the air in the room, but also staying slim for the cabinet. The mid-range units are a very good, fairly conventional pistonic driver, and then we use, which we can see better in the BRX, what we call a high-velocity folded ribbon, which is an AMT-style tweeter. They have wonderful power handling, easy to drive, very forgiving. So maybe if your amplifier isn't the most powerful or the one doesn't have the greatest finesse, a ribbon tweeter is never going to sound really hard and nasty. It gives you a really sweet, big soundstage. So it's just a choice that we feel gives the best performance for the buck, biggest bang for the buck.
And because we're always saying it, but it's completely different if it counts for you, is there this burn-in of drivers? And how long does it take for one speaker to burn in?
I think burn-in is an interesting phrase, but certainly the use really helps drivers. Yeah. Definitely. Different drivers will have different kind of times. You've also got to think about the elements of the driver we don't see that need to have some flexibility, almost like the suspension on a car. It needs to get compliant and start to move and break down. So you can see you have a rubber surround on here. And if the product has just been shipped, it might be quite cold. So rubber isn't going to be at its most compliant and freest at that. On the inside, the suspension and the spider needs to just get a bit more elasticity to move properly. And of course, there is the electrical characteristic of the cooking, the burning in, which again does have an impact. So definitely play them, get them moving. Different systems will require a different amount, but you'll hear it. Everyone will hear the difference, unquestionably.
And that's exactly what we're saying. Like a car engine, even the manufacturers of cars say you need an X amount of kilometers so you can have the best results and to have
really open it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And one question which I'm quite sure I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it nevertheless. Which are the cables that you recommend for Goldenear?
Well, of course, that's one of the changes that we made to the T series, which the T66 is the first model of the range, is that we paid attention to the wiring that goes on inside the cable.
Yeah.
And because our sister company is AudioQuest, we've used AudioQuest wiring on the inside. AudioQuest have 44 years of expertise of making high quality, high performing cables. So we've used all of that expertise to make cabling that is perfect for the jobs inside the speaker.
And this is something really important because many manufacturers recommend very high-end cables, but inside the speakers they are very, let's say, cheap.
Cheap, absolutely. Well, yes. I mean, inside the T66, for example, we've got our own really good copper inside there. We control the directionality to make sure it drains away RF noise properly. So all of the things that we do when we worry about in our good cables have been done for the cables inside this. So sometimes some of our more sophisticated designs would be a nightmare to try and make inside a speaker. So we have to make a balance between building them and absolute performance. So it's a really good cable in here, but it's not the craziest one we could have put in.
Yes, I mean the sky's the limit, right? So 3 questions that we're asking everybody, and I'm going to challenge you with some of them. So, analog or digital audio source, which one do you prefer? You personally.
God. I love my turntable and I use it a lot, but I think I would have to say digital because I have found so much more music since I've been streaming and using some software that recommends me things that I've never heard before. So I may play one of my favorite artists. Let's say someone like Porcupine Tree. Yeah, quite love those guys. Great band. And then it suggests a band that's similar that I've never heard before. Riverside from Poland.
Yeah.
Brilliant band. I'd never heard of them before, and I probably would never have found them if I hadn't had a streaming service. So I love the digital side because it helps me find more music.
From convenience side.
Yeah. I love my turntable, my records, but the excitement of what I can find through streaming means it wins.
Yeah, no, that I totally get that. I mean, I'm quite similar. And which song or how do you test new system? Like, is there a particular song that you listen to on every system, or is it particular sounds that you look in particular system?
When I'm able to set a system up, there are a few different things that I use. But if I'm sat in front of a system and I want to get familiar quickly with it, there's a track by Pearl Jam called Present Tense of their album Verses, because I love that track. I know that track, and I know what I want to hear from it.
Yeah.
So that's one I would always go to.
Thank you. And final question: what is next for Goldenear? What is the future of Goldenear? We're quite interested to see that.
The future of Goldenear is really, I think, our focus is on a few things, but we really want to put some energy into developing out the T-Series line. So this is our first new product that's come under the new ownership, and it's replaced a couple of the old models. So we've got some other areas to fill in underneath it. So not that I can say exactly what's coming, but it'll look familiar to those that see that.
Okay, quite looking forward to that. Yeah. And really thank you for your time spent here. For me, it was really a pleasure having you. Thank you for the time that you spent with our community. That's what we appreciate.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. И както преди, така и сега, аз бях Тони. До следващото интервю.